there has been a lot of discussion and attention focused on the quick adoption of the Constitution Amendment or change of Constitution amid verdict 2024 in the name of inequality that follows to give OBCs and other castes a rise in reservation and also quota shift allegations to minorities on the basis of religion in government positions and higher education. Already, the Supreme Court has set the reservation limit at 50%, and politicians tend to take TN model where the limit was exceptionally kept at about 69% for increasing the reservation quota against the backdrop of the extensive fierce political fights for quota increase to woo the voters. At the same time, the lawmakers are ignoring the non-backward poor, which forms the majority. In the almost 7 decades since India gained its independence, the nation has made the decision to forego the merit-based public service path and has progressively strengthened and broadened its devotion to the reservation route. The error in judgment that a new hidden class injury, that is, non backward poor, had unwittingly been caused and it needed to be addressed also. In an effort to right the wrong caste discriminations of the past, backwardness in India is determined by costs rather than income as basis. Dr. Ambedkar, a proponent of reservations, stated clearly that it must be for a limited time frame. However, perpetual quota reservation politics in India reignite the controversy between the proponents of the merit and quotas. India would have been better off for the average citizen if it had diverted some of its political energy away from reservations and focused more on placing the most talented people in the vital sectors of education and governance. India's democracy is compelled to grapple with the challenge of combining efficiency with fairness. The Indian Civil Service, which was established in the middle of the 19th century and was solely based on merit, was excellent at upholding law and order and enforcing the then rules during Britishers' time. But subsequently, the same Indian administrative services also forced an increasing number of Indians into poverty by being part of the executive along with the legislative since independence. It didn't significantly improve the lives of normal people in terms of wealth or pleasure or happiness. It turned out that meritocracy was flawed not because it lacked virtues, but rather because its practitioners have exhibited Hobbesian savage self interests. Although the idea of meritocracy is appealing, there are issues with measurement and execution of the same. Competencies would differ between occupations. Thus, benchmark for gauging those competencies becomes essential. The benchmarks that are employed might not be sufficient to evaluate actual skill or might have biases ingrained in them that were carried over from the creator's subconscious. For instance, a written and oral test as well as horseback riding may be beneficial in determining a candidate's physical and mental attributes, but they may not accurately represent a candidate's fitness in situations where moral righteousness, physical bravery, or integrity are essential qualities in the face of unreasonable pressure. Concerning the validity of the authority or authorities that evaluate merit may also be necessary. A case in point is the recent occurrences of disagreements regarding the appointment of judges. These factors have led to criticism of standardized tests for their inability to gauge a person's inventiveness, initiative, diligence, or established biases that could affect judgment. We all know that opportunities are not allocated equally in any nation. Less wealthy students would be excluded from countries where higher education is highly expensive since they cannot afford to attend such institutions. They would also be unable to compete for the best positions, which would be another consequence. As spectators of politics, we have learned from history time and again that you will almost certainly not have your say in decisions made for you if you do not participate in the process. However, there is little doubt that the notion of reservations affects quality and efficiency even while it guarantees some equality of opportunity. When we compare China and India, it confirms that the difference between the two nations lies in meritocracy and state capacity. India, in fact, has to foster talent and reject quotas in order to bring prosperity and transformation to the country. Daniel Bell, author of the China model, Political Meritocracy and the Limits of Democracy, states that the state's leadership capacity has been greatly enhanced by a relentless pursuit of meritocracy through high quality education and placing talented persons in crucial spots in the country's governance. China's emphasis on meritocracy helped the country achieve greater efficiencies, eradicate poverty, and transform into a middle class nation. It appears that our nation has accepted a trade-off between excellence in commercial sector and equity in public employment. There are restrictions on meritocracy in governmental services, while meritocracy is free to flourish in the private sphere. We all know that the number of public jobs would not increase in the future. It is expected that the private sector will create the majority of the official positions. However, it would be interesting to watch what kind of global excellence the private sector is able to achieve in terms of innovation, creativity, and businesses. Hope the information is useful. Thank you very much.